Bismillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah, wabad. Welcome again to another of our programs. And I'm your host, Omar Jamaykee, and we're discussing concerning Iman and those components that assist one in one Iman being strengthened, and also things that may affect a person's Iman and weakens it. So we're discussing some aspect of the different components and different tools that one can use in strengthening of one Iman. And of the thing that can be used in strengthening Iman, faith, is righteous deeds. So after possessing knowledge, one is expected to act upon one knowledge. And this is mentioned many places in the Quran. And of the examples of the same ayah that we mentioned before, Al-As, Wal-As, Innal insana lafi khus, that by time, mankind is in a state of loss. So this is something which is general. A man, in general, is a state of loss. Then an exemption is made. An exception is made. Who are those people who are not in a state of loss? إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who believe. So of their first description is that they believe. They have belief. And second, they fulfill righteous deeds. They have righteous actions. So not just any actions, but their action must be righteous. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. So the condition that attached to the action is that it should be that which is righteous. So we have action either they are righteous or they are unrighteous. They are evil action. So the Muslim, in wishing and seeking to exceed his Iman and open for the growth of his Iman, he has to fulfill righteous deeds. So after having the belief, one must be hasty. One must be willing to submit to those actions that is required from a Muslim. Those actions that a Muslim are required to fulfill in the testimony of his faith. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this a condition for those who are successful, that they have belief, they have faith, and it's combined with righteous action. And righteous actions are actions that fall in line with Islam. The things that Islam encourage, one fulfill of them. And those things that Islam are as forbidden and discouraged from the Muslim, then the Muslim should stay away from these actions. So of the things, of the tools used for strengthening of one Iman and its growth is righteous deed. And this also is a sign of the sincerity of the Muslim, that he acts according to his faith. And as the Prophet, peace be upon him, has mentioned in many hadith of them, that Iman, and the hadith of where the angel asked the Prophet about Islam. And the Prophet, when he mentioned about Islam, he mentioned regarding actions. So Islam, it does include action, righteous deed, praying, fasting, performing Hajj. All of these are components and factors that are used to strengthen one Iman. So the Muslim have to be engaged in these affairs. Not just claiming after belief, this is sufficient. I have a one-way ticket to Jannah. That's not the case in Islam. The Muslim who believe in Allah and has faith, a part of his faith is that this Muslim, he should fulfill righteous deed. He should go about doing actions that are righteous. And these actions that are righteous, it is defined by Islam. The things that we are encouraged to do, the Muslim, he fulfill of them. Whether compulsory action or actions that are encouraged, that are not compulsory. So these are the things that a Muslim have to be engaged in. A willingness to do righteous deeds. And also in the Quran we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the book, فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَائِي, that the one who wishes to meet his Lord, فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا, that the one must do of righteous deed. So the one who have this hope, the one who is seeking to meet his Lord, and his meeting is on a day of judgment, when one will be judged, one will be held accountable for one action. The one who have this expectation that he'll meet his Lord and is hoping to meet his Lord, then he needs to engage himself in doing righteous deeds. فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا. So the person have to do righteous deed. So the person who's the Muslim, the person who's seeking to increase his Iman, he has to be engaged in righteous deed, in all forms. So those actions that are righteous, one has to fulfill them. Praying, fasting, performing Hajj, giving of charity. And these are actions that distinguish the Muslim from many other people of the world, from other faiths. That a Muslim pray a particular way. So the Muslim have to pray 5 times a day. This will increase one Iman. And a person who prays 5 times a day, when he does not pray, he feels a difference. He feels of his Iman have decreased. Because these actions become a part of his life. A routine, part of his day-to-day life activities. So the Muslim also have to do those acts of worship, showing his dedication to Islam and to his Lord. And also, he has to perform righteous actions that are of the general affairs of one day-to-day life. So the Muslim, in fulfilling and seeking to increase his Iman, this cannot be attained unless one is involved in doing righteous deed. One is hasty. One is competing in fulfilling of these that will be a benefit to him. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, who is the best example, was one who practiced Islam practically. Meaning, he did the things that he told his followers to fulfill. So the Muslim, after knowing Islam, accepting Islam, believing Islam to be correct, to increase one's faith, one have to act upon one's belief. And Islam is of 2 sections, or of 2 portions. One aspect of Islam deals with the internal aspect of the person's life, which is his belief. And this is internal, that relates to one's heart. And this aspect of Islam that is external, relating to one's action, how one function with one's limb. So as we had defined Iman, and we had said that Iman, it comprises of 3 main aspects. Belief, something of the heart. Actions, this is done with the limb, the feet, the hands. And also, things of speech. So all of these are Iman. And of a part of this is action. So the Muslim is required to fulfill righteous deed. The Muslim is expected to comply when he says, I believe, I have faith in Islam, that as a part of this, he act according to the rules of Islam. And as the Prophet, peace be upon him, has said in the hadith, Bunya Islam al-khams, that Islam is built upon 5 pillars. Most of those 5 pillars of Islam are things that a person, the Muslim, is required to fulfill by way of actions. So if we were to observe these 5 and list them, they are saying of La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, that I bear witness in the oneness of Allah, and in the messengership of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that's something of speech. Also the person, the second, iqamatus salah, the person establishing the salah, the prayer, this is something of action. Prayer is to be done at certain times, in a certain motion. All of these are action. Also, zakat, act, giving of charity with one's wealth. Hajj, actions. Ramadan, an act of staying away from food and drink and intercourse. So all these aspects of Islam, of its main tenets, compose and comprises of action. So in raising one Iman, one must fulfill action. So with this, we come to an end. And stay tuned to the next program. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.